We all know about inferring LLM models through cloud providers. But did you know you can also run LLM models locally? And Microsoft has made it a lot easier to do so. Let's find out how. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kirk, and today we're going to look at running LLM models locally using Foundry Local. Foundry Local is a tool provided by Microsoft that allows you to run LLMs locally on a machine quite easily. Now, as you know, in my videos and my tutorials, we like to do something practical, knock over all the theoretical stuff, but we're going to jump right into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to briefly look at what Foundry Local is, then we're going to download it, install it on our machine, and then run it, and then use it in a couple Python programs. So if that appeals to you, and if you're not already subscribed, you should probably subscribe. And then after, if you like this video, please give it a like. Now, on that note, let's just jump right into it. Hello everyone. Today we are going to run an LLM locally. Exciting stuff. Okay, to get started, I've gone over to foundrylocal.ai. If you're following along, you can go there as well. But this will give you the instructions of how to actually install this. And as you can see here, why would you want to run an LLM model locally? Well, first, it'll keep your data private. So I don't know what you're doing, but in terms of corporations, you might not be allowed to send your private data to a cloud service provider to do the inference. So you can do things locally here. And if you're offline, of course, or if you're testing. And the big thing for me would be tokens. You don't have to worry about costs. So you're saving money. Again, depends on the tasks. You'll probably still want to use GPT for AI agents. So you have to think about what you want to do. If you want to do it locally, or do you have to use a larger model and you just use a cloud provider? But yeah, I just wanted to cover that. But okay, so we go here, we can copy this to actually install it. I've already done that, but let me just paste that in there just to show you. Yes, so it's installed and up to date. And from there, we have this command here, which is show you to run a model. And I will run this model. This is the Qwen 2.5. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, you can correct me. I think that's the first built by Alibaba, if I remember correctly. And of course, these are open source models. I should also say that again, you can't run GPT because it's proprietary by OpenAI, and that's why you go to Microsoft and use Azure AI Foundry, or Microsoft Foundry as it's called now. But we're going to run this model locally. So let's copy that and run it. And what this is going to do is it is going to install it on your machine. Now this command here, this Qwen 2.5, 0.5 billion parameter model, this is an alias. And what it's going to do, so if you go back here, go to models, let's look for that one. And it's going to figure out your machine, what you're on, and it's going to download the variant that best suits your machine. Now I'm on a MacBook Pro. Let me bring up the stats here. Do I have it here? Yes. I'm on a MacBook Pro M4, and my graphics display, I have the GPU. It's not NVIDIA, of course, but you go here, and actually it will probably say here what it downloaded. Yes, it downloaded the generic GPU 4 here. That's the version. No, sorry, I'm looking at CPU. Here it is here. GPU, WebGPU, which is correct. So not this one. I'm running it on my MacBook Pro with Metal support here. So I can run this and it just figures it out which one to download, which is quite helpful. Okay, back to our command line here. And you can see it is now up and running. So let's just actually test this. Say, what is the largest planet in our solar system? Oop, I misspelled that. No, I didn't. And it's thinking here, largest planet in our solar system is Jupiter. Okay, great. I can get out of this. This is just the interactive mode. It's actually still running, but let me show you some commands here. So as I said, it downloaded this to your machine. So if I go, well, first off, you can go foundry.help, and you can see different commands you can run here. We already just did the model here. Cache, so if I go foundry cache, let's just do help here as well. And you can see which ones it downloaded here. Foundry cache list, and the alias that I put, and then the actual model ID, the generic GPU. Yeah, so that's what I am running. And actually, I'll show you another thing here. Foundry cache, is it location? Yes. And you can see where it downloaded it to. If you want to change that, you can change that. You can, yeah, CD. Let's go Foundry cache CD. Okay, now this is up and running. So if you go Foundry services, is it services? Let's just do Foundry help. Help. Yeah, Foundry service. So Foundry service. And if I write status, you can see this model is running. It's just a RESTful service on your machine. And here it is running. And you can see the port it's running on. And if I run Foundry service PS, you'll see what is actually running. Okay, so that's great. You can see the port here. It's running. It just picked that port, but if I can change that port too. So I have, let me just, did I run Foundry service help? We have these set, we have a set parameter here. So if I go Foundry service set help, I think. Yeah, so we can actually change that port too. So you might not want to run on that port. You might want to pick a port. If you're running this on a virtual machine and maybe you want to set up some rules of what ports and who can actually hit this service. So you can change it, play with it, and yeah, so I just wanted to cover that. Okay, so that's that. Just remember, Foundry help is your friend if you're ever lost, and also the documentation. Okay, now we're going to actually see how we can use this in a Python project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one right now. Let's go, I'm going to use UV as my package manager. And let's call it Foundry Local Demo. Okay, so that is there. Now I'm going to go to my IDE cursor here. And let's open that. Where is it? Foundry Local Demo. Great. And okay, first I'm going to get a terminal up here and create my virtual environment. Clear this, UVVN. There we go. And then I can go source.vn bin activate, right? So now my environment is activated. Let's create, I see we have main here. Yeah, okay, let's just go here. Let's start filling out some stuff here. Actually, let's install our libraries that we need now. I'm going to go UV add OpenAI. I'm going to use that library. I'm going to use UV add Foundry Local SDK. And if you're, of course, if you're using pip, you can do pip install Foundry Local SDK. But there we go. We have our packages here in our virtual environment, right? Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, that's right, a little bit of code. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do here is actually just create our alias. This is going to be the exact same alias that we did in our command line when we ran our LLM locally. So that's the Qwen 2.5, 0.5 billion parameter model here. And then we are going to create our manager here. So this is the Foundry Local manager here. Let's import this. There we go. We have that going here. And now we can actually just use OpenAI. And I will show you here. Let's do this in our outside here. We have our manager here, and we are passing the endpoint. And because we're locally, we don't need an API key, but I'll just have that there anyways. Let's save this. So what this is saying is our OpenAI endpoint is actually going to be on a local machine, which I will show you. Let's just run this. Actually, let me just do these commands here. Okay, let's actually just run this now. Python, what is it? main.py. Let's see if it actually works here. OpenAI is not found. Whoops, I forgot to import that. Of course. Yeah, it knows here. I'm using text completion here in cursor. Let's try that again. And there you go. So it says the model here, generic GPU, and the endpoint. So if we go back to our command line here, if I run Foundry service status, here it is. So it's running at 127.0.0.1 and the port number, and there it is there. So it knows where it is, where it's running on your local machine. That's the local manager. So that is great. Now let's actually try to infer something. Okay, now that our model is up and running, we can actually send something to it. So let's just do the exact same thing as we did in our command line. So I just copy and paste code here. Exact same thing, request, what is the largest planet in our solar system? Or maybe I'll change it. Let's just change this. What is the largest country in the world? Let's do that. Let's just see what happens. I don't know what's going to come back. I'm assuming Russia, but we will see. And then we just send this. We've already built our client here, OpenAI, and it's going to our local LLM, so not out in the cloud. Of course, that's the whole point of this lesson. And setting the model that's going to use, because you could have more than one model running on your local. And we are going to get we're going to set up the message here, the user obviously in the request, and then we're going to get a chat message back. So let's run this. I saved it. You'll see here, it's just taking a bit of time to load the model in, and then it goes pretty quickly. So you saw that. I'm hoping you saw that. Where just send the request, and then it came back like really quick because it's your local machine. And of course, it came back. The largest country in the area is Russia. Then it gave a lot more information. But that's great. So we're running locally, and we're running a program locally. We're hitting an LLM locally, not relying on the cloud. You can do this offline. this is trivial. Let's do something a bit more interesting that maybe someone would want to do if you're at a company. Let's think about summarizing documents. Okay, so let's just think about this for a second. Say you're at a company and you have thousands and thousands or tens of thousands of old documents, and maybe you just want to have a summary of those somewhere else. Now, you might not be able to, as I said, for security reasons or compliance reasons, be able to send that to a public cloud inference provider. Or, well, think about it. You could probably just run this on an EC2 instance or a virtual machine on Windows and just infer it there if you're running an LLM locally, and you're going to save on token costs. So if you have thousands and thousands of documents, why not? As I said, we're just using Qwen, the 0.5 billion parameter, and we have choices of what we can use here. Obviously, we have different models here. I didn't really go over that. But we have these open source models here, DeepSeek, Qwen, and it's also about what you're running on, what your computer is capable of, the task. Yeah, so we have different Qwen models here with different parameters. This is a 14 billion, which is obviously going to be a lot larger. And you just have to figure out what you should do, how it's performing, test it out, especially if you're doing summary. Some of them are better than others. But since you're running it on local, you don't have to worry about inference costs. You can just see which one solves your problem. Is it adequate to summarize the documents? I don't know. You have to figure that out. Okay, now let's go in here and let's actually create a file here. Let's call it summary.py. And I'm going to use LangChain to do this. So here we are in our summary. I'm just going to copy over some of this code that I had before, initializing the manager here. And as I said, we're going to actually use LangChain. So let me just show you this here. A little different. We're using chat OpenAI, which is part of the LangChain OpenAI. So let me just copy this. I don't need this one here. And of course, I'm going to have to install that package. Let me think about what this is. UV add, what is it? LangChain OpenAI, I think. I will say that I'm going to have all this code in my repo as well, which I'll have in the description. So you can go there and download it and play with it. Okay, so we have that. Again, we're running our model locally. And we have the same thing where we're just getting the alias, the ID, endpoint, key, which we don't need. And with LangChain, I'm just giving it a temperature of 0.6. I'm not streaming, but that's that part. So there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I've downloaded a PDF, a rather large one. I just went search for a document on the internet. I decided to go to Nike. This is a 102-page report. I think this is a financial report. What is it? Form 10. Oh, I don't know what this is. Okay, so I downloaded it. But that's why we're summarizing it, right? So let's go ahead and see what we can do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is write some code here to load in this PDF. And I'll actually need to copy it over. Let's grab that. I've copied that PDF, the Nike report, into my folder here. And yeah, so I have this code. Actually, I need these libraries as well. Just using my PDF loader from LangChain community. Actually, I need to install that as well. Let me UV add, is it LangChain community? I can't remember. LangChain community. I think that's what I need to install. Oh, well, we'll find out. Okay, so that's all that is doing is it's reading in all the contents here. And this is going to be a big content. So there's a lot of stuff here, right? So let's see if our prompt can handle that. And again, we don't have to worry about inference costs because we're running this locally. That's why we're doing this. Okay, so we have that loaded. Let's create a prompt. So we have our prompt here saying you are a helpful assistant that summarizes documents. Summarize the documents and return the summary. Yeah, so I just grab that prompt here and we're feeding in the input. We can chain this together. So pretty much we're just saying here, taking our prompt and feeding into the LLM and summarizing documents. Let's do that. And yeah, it knows here, let's do that. Invoke our chain here and print the content. Okay, so let's save that. Let's see if this actually runs. Python summary. Remember, we're still running this locally. Okay, so I forgot to install. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to do uv add py-pdf. There we go. So I have that. Let's run this. Okay, look what comes back. This input message is too large. The model supports at most 32768 tokens. So we have a bit of a problem here. We're taking this whole PDF. We can't run this locally. I want to show you something. Let's go back to our browser. So when I get something like this, it's nice to go here, but I like to go to Hugging Face. So where is it? We're not on that one. We're on 0.5. There we go. So I'm on Hugging Face here. There's a lot more information here on the card. We just had an error, so I want to show you here. The context length, 32,000, so that means the input and output context. We can get that information. Again, Hugging Face, I think I've gone over this on other tutorials, but when you're in the Microsoft Azure space, you sometimes forget about this, but if you're thinking about evaluating models, go to Hugging Face, look at this stuff, because here, a little bit of information, but not a lot. Hugging Face here says this is conversational and text generation, which is good for summaries, but this is the 0.5 billion parameter one. You want to compare this to the larger one, and as I said, depends on the machine you're running. You have to figure that stuff out. But we have a problem here. So what I think we should do, let's not pick a larger model. What we're going to do is do this in chunks. So let's summarize the first few pages and keep on going through. So summarize maybe the first 5 pages, the next 5 pages, and then we have all that summarized. And then after that, maybe we can take those summaries and feed it into the prompt again to get another summary. Again, these are things you have to figure out, but you don't have to worry about tokens. You're playing with it. You're developing it. Eventually, you're going to get something. You're going to do it for free. You're going to be a rock star for your boss, but let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I've gone over and I've actually replaced my summary.py code here to actually break this up into chunks. And as I said, this will be in the repo, so you can go ahead there and download it and look at it. And actually, I've decided just to run this. I actually just want to summarize the first 20 pages because this takes a little while to run it, even on local, to summarize each page in chunks. So what this is basically doing, so when you use the PDF loader, you're reading in pages at a time anyways. So it's going to read in all 120 pages, but I'm just saying for this documents here, we're just going to get the last 20. And there, what we're going to do is I'm going to define a chunk size of 5, which would be 5 pages at a time to summarize it. And we're going to keep on calling the LLM locally just to summarize those 5 pages at a time. And we're just going to have an array here of summaries appended. And then when we're done, which again for us, for this demo is only the first 20 pages. If you wanted to do it for all of them, you just have to uncomment this here and just use it on all documents instead. But let's run this and let's see if we can get around the context length problem that we just had. So let's run this again. And remember, this is still running. So we go to service, let's wait, Foundry status, service status. It's running. And here we go. So summarizing pages 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 20, or 11 to 15, I should say. You can see, I just wanted to just do the first 20 so we can do this on this video here. There we go. Okay, and it's done. And it's summarized each chunk 4, summary key points. And yeah, so this is 5 pages broken into a little bit of text here. Again, play with your models, but you get the idea. You can run this locally. Don't have to worry about inference costs. Be a rock star. There's more we can do with this, but this is a good starting point. Running models locally. Pretty fun, pretty cool. Let's try other multimodal models. I will say that you can download models from Hugging Face as well on your local machine. Maybe I'll go over that in another tutorial. Run those locally. The only thing is the models themselves have to be, if you see here, the model type has to be Onyx. I'll go over that stuff in another lesson. More to talk about here. But this is great. This is a good start. I hope you enjoyed this. That's it for today's tutorial on running LLM models locally using Foundry Local. I hope you got something out of it. I don't know, are you new to running LLMs locally? Was this your first time doing it? Or maybe you're coming here from just a search on YouTube. You already know about a llama, but are curious about Foundry Local. I would like to know, so just write a comment if that's the case. And if you like this video, remember to like, and if you're not already subscribed, please give them subscribe. I had fun doing this video. I always love doing these videos. I'm gonna keep on creating them, and I hope to see you next time.